Hey guys, this is Andrew, and we have an incredible podcast today. It's a little bit of a deviation from buying real estate, but it is dead on for you entrepreneurs out there trying to build a business around your life versus working your life around what the business demands. So let's dive in. We've got a great guest. Kyle's going to get into exactly how he's helped other entrepreneurs and himself, and we'll get to hear a little bit about how he's going to help me, or does help me at the end of this podcast, with our oldest son. So y'all jump in, dive in, and if you do have kids, you will want to pay a deep attention. If you're on the way to building that family, we have some great nuggets for you as well. So dive in here, listen, enjoy, take notes. We'll see you on the other side. Bye. All right, guys, welcome back to the Deal Finders podcast. I have a really special guest, a guy that's in a mentorship program with me and some other great people. And we just got to talking. I got to hear his story and the things that he's doing for other business people, entrepreneurs, and just families. And I said, I really want to talk to you. Really, this is a free therapy session for me, just so you know, Kyle. So, so this is going to be a little deviation, guys. If you are used to our Deal Finders podcast, we talk all things real estate, getting started, how to find the first couple of deals in your local backyard. But today we're gonna transition because Kyle's actually he's probably not the most experienced real estate investor. He's how many houses have you bought?
Two.
All right, 2 houses. So guys, we're gonna deviate from real estate today, and we're gonna talk about raising humans. So he's got a great company program going on. Kyle, I'm gonna let you kind of introduce yourself, kind of 30-second. Intro, where are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
And then let's dive into the art of raising humans. So go, take it away.
Well, Andrew, my name's Kyle Wester, and my wife's name is Sarah. We've been married 21 years. We've got 3 kids, a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And we are passionate about raising human beings, raising kids that will actually transform this world, that will go into it without fear, and will be excited to make the world something better, something more sustainable and beautiful. And so that passion's been in us for a long time. And that led us to not only becoming professional counselors, but also parenting coaches. And then we started our podcast, which our podcast is called The Art of Raising Humans, which is also the name of the business. And we get to help parents all throughout the world. So we get calls from people in Europe and Asia and all over America and Canada. It's really awesome to help transform give parents the skills they need to create the families they've always wanted and envisioned.
I love that. And so as we deviate away from real estate, tell me, how did this come about? Were you always a counselor? Is that what you went to college for? Or
no, I actually got an undergrad degree in theology. Okay. Theology, and then my wife got it in psychology. But as we were dating and talking about just things we were passionate about, we both, obviously, like everybody does, we ran into our own family issues, and we saw a lot of people we knew had a lot of family issues, and we thought we want to help with those. So parenting was not the focus at all. It was let's just become professional counselors, and then let's help people, right? But she got into helping kids who'd been sexually and physically abused. And I got into school counseling. So I was an elementary school counselor for 7 years. And in that process, Andrew, what I thought was the thing that really brought me alive. So I think this really resonated with your entrepreneur listeners and the real estate listeners is I noticed I didn't really like school counseling. So it wasn't all that great. But the thing I loved to do was, when families, parents would come in and they say, hey, can I talk about Johnny with you? I'd be like, why Johnny? He's doing great at school. And they'd be like, oh no, it's crazy at home. And I'd be like, oh, it's crazy at home? Oh, really, Johnny? Okay. So then we'd start talking about the issues at home. And I found, Andrew, the solutions were easy to me. Now that here's why the solutions were easy, is I feel like I've been coming up with these solutions since I was 10 years old. And what I mean by that is, since I was 9 or 10 years old as a little kid, I would see the ways my parents would parent, and I would be like, I think there's a better way to do that.
Wow.
I could see, my dad would come home from a day of work and he'd be really grumpy, and he'd say, hey, you want to go to the store with me? And I'd say, no, because I really didn't want to hang out with him. I'll go. And he'd be like, He'd be like, well, you're going anyway. I don't understand it. When your mom asks for you to go to the store, you say yes. Why do you always say no? And I would say, because you never let me say yes. He's like, what do you mean? Dad, when you ask me, I know you're going to make me. So the only answer I can give you is no. So I give you no. And he's like, well, you're coming. And then the whole time, it'd be me getting yelled at or getting front at. And I'd be like, as soon as I can stop coming on these trips, I'm going to stop. So I realized as I was helping these families, man, since I was a little kid, I was always passionate about helping my dad be a better dad. I would see these ways my dad would make mistakes with my brothers and sisters and with me, or my mom would make mistakes. And I'd be like, if you guys, I think, would just try this or speak to me in this way, I think I'd really resonate or respond with that, So it was almost like from the time I was little, this was a calling already in my heart, and I tell a lot of dads I help, Andrew, that secretly I think I'm just helping my dad. It's just every dad I'm helping. I'm helping my dad, I'm helping myself and the dad I am, but I think I'm actually like an answer to prayer for some kid who actually wants a better relationship with their dad.
Yeah, I love that, man. And so I'm going to probably make this one last reference to why people should be listening to this podcast from our typical listeners is because we're all entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And you hit it right there, is that we all we are trying to get better at certain things, and we might see the rat race and we're like, oh, this is not good enough. Let's try something entrepreneurial. Let me do it myself. Well, the biggest thing that resonates with me, and one of the reasons I wanted you on here, is because my wife and I, Michelle, we have 3 kids. They're 10, 9, and 7.
Yeah.
And we don't have it all figured out. Just like real estate and business, we hired mentors and coaches a few years ago, really, when we were going all in and trying to figure this thing out. And we still have mentors and coaches today. And we go and we speak to it's a couple. I guess they're marriage counselors, family counselors, whatever it is. I don't know what they call themselves, but we go and we sit with them every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff we talk about. It's kids, sometimes it's home finances or home, we argue with each other, whatever. Communication seems to be a big one.
Of course, huge. Yeah.
I'm not great at it, but
yeah.
And so I believe strongly in getting that experience. Like you said, you've been doing this for years. An experienced person that can shed some light on what we're just not seeing because we're in it.
Yeah.
Why they can see from the outside in. And so I kind of joked that this would be a counseling session for me. And this might be counseling for me. So
yes. Well, Andrew, I think what also resonates is you can't live life like all compartmentalized. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, real estate agent over here, and then I'm dad over here, and then husband over here. They all interweave with each other. So when I was living life all separate and I didn't see the interworkings of all the different ways these relationships impact me and all, I was just so tired, man. I was so stressed. There was so much anxiety because it seemed like you'd succeed at one, fail at another, fail at one. So you like a lot of dads that, dads I've helped in the real estate space or entrepreneurs, lots of them actually, they're trying to do well at work because they actually want to provide a better life for their kids. There is this kind of legacy mindset that I want to give them a better financial legacy. I want to be able to provide for them, a nicer house, a nicer school, all these kind of ways that we think about, like education, the way they eat, all these ways that maybe the parent is intentional about doing that. But they don't think about, how am I teaching them to communicate? How am I teaching them to relate to themselves and deal with their feelings and emotions, right? How am I teaching them how to do relationships in a healthier way? Those kind of things, most people never had that modeled and had no one really coached them through that, And so once I made this a priority where I thought, wait, I think it always starts in the home. If I'm having a fantastic time as a husband, I'm having the relationships I want with my kids, dude, I'm unstoppable in life, right? Because then anything I go do with work, I'm coming, like when I leave home, Andrew, I'm full instead of empty, right? And we even homeschool our kids. So I'm home with them all the time. So like before I jumped in here, the kids are like, Dad, what's the podcast you're doing? Oh, cool. Who are you talking to? It's not like they're all excited about these things. and they get to join me on this journey. So when I leave my home and I go to my office to go help other parents, like I'm full. I'm not empty. And I think the people listening to your podcast, that to me is really the dream. It isn't to go to work, get full, and then come home. It really is, home is the place that you get rejuvenated and revitalized, because that's actually what the kids want to be. The kids hope that when you come home that, oh, dad's not empty. Let me give dad more hugs and kisses.
Yeah.
Through the laughing, the horseplay, the throwing the kids around, the pillow fights, sitting on the couch. Those are the moments that you then are getting full to now go after your dream the next day.
Yes, man. I love it. I love what you just said. I want to jump on that for a minute and tell us the image of, I leave for work.
Yeah.
And I'm empty.
Yeah.
What happens when I go to work? What am I doing? How would somebody know that they're leaving home empty?
Well, Andrew, I guess here's what it looked like for me. And this sounds really stupid. When I look back now, I think, so when my kids were younger, like especially around 3 and 1, I really thought my job was the stereotypical, I got to go home, provide for the family, got to make the money. That's where I found my value, worth, and meaning. It wasn't actually in being a dad. And so, like, man, when I was a school counselor, I had summers off, right? But I would say to the school, I would say, hey, listen, this summer, I think we should do this and do this and do this. And these parents who were like, aren't you off? Like, don't you want to be home? Oh, no, I'll see the kids. But I think my more important impact is here. So I want to come. So I was like trying to because I almost felt like being home, it was almost like just being with the kids I was being lazy, like it was kind of a waste of time. Even my wife would be like, Kyle, you're gone a lot. Why don't you spend this time off? And I'm getting enough with them. But it really was, I was escaping this sense of incompetency. I was trying to run away from, I didn't know how to deal with the big tantrums. I had no clue. Like, I almost felt like being home was more damaging than it was helpful. Because it really, and lots of times I come home, Andrew, it was like my wife would create a pretty peaceful home. And then I would come home and all crap would break loose. And then I would come home and say to my wife, why is it so crazy? What's going on? And my wife would say, it wasn't like this until you got home. And then when you got home, the kids could feel it. Like, I could see them, Kyle, as they heard the garage door open. They're like, yep. Oh no, dad's home. And it was, I would come home pretty on edge a little bit, pretty anxious about the day, pretty exhausted, and kind of grumpy. And I just wanted the kids to be easy. I didn't want them to be hard. And so if they were hard at all, I was like, like, especially for me, I mean, I'd been with kids all day long. I'd been at an elementary school. At that time, Andrew, I was doing elementary school counseling and then going and doing drug and alcohol counseling after that. And then I'd come home and I've been helping people all day. I don't want to come home and help you too.
So, entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs are driven to start their own business because, at least they say it, and will say, I want to have freedom to be at home. I want to do this with my kids. So Michelle and I, back when we started, we were both working 9-to-5 jobs. We had 3 kids, all 3 in daycare. They were 4 and under. Yes. And we said, Michelle, it was kind of like she wanted to be able to pick the boys, first one, the boy up from school after school. And so we said the only way to do that is let's go make real estate a thing. We had some, it's kind of on the side, right? Really no income at all. So we spent 2 years making it an income. And we said, all right, we're going to go be entrepreneurs. We both quit our jobs actually at that time. We started 2 businesses and that was the goal. We want to pick our kids up from school. We want to do that.
I love that goal. Yeah.
And ask me how many times I picked the kids up. So part of that was that in so many entrepreneurs, that's their goal, that's the drive. What we found is we're not really built to do that. We have, Michelle and I, we kind of have this running energy, just Energizer Bunny for the business. Yeah. So we had to modify that to where now the kids will come here after school. They hang out here. They might do practice. They have different things, right? So we're able to, I can take them there. I can go to our house. We're entrepreneurs. Yes. So we've kind of been able to build our life with the kids around our business. Which has been our real focus this year, is to say, what else is it? What else is the business getting in the way of what we want, which is to be with the family? And so that's our focus for this year. But there's a lot of people that aren't there, right?
I know.
Completely go to work and put every bit of energy on the table at the office. And I mentioned leaving from home empty emotionally.
Yes.
What is it like when someone comes home from work and now they're empty with energy? Their energy is gone. This is where I've been before, where it's like, I can't leave the office until I'm spent, because now I know I've given it my all. How does someone stop doing
I know. Well, because then the kids just get the leftovers.
That's right.
And I know. Awful. If I could give you this, this back in the day when I used to play video games, I really don't play video games anymore, but back when I did, when the kids were little, I had bought into this lie that I think a lot of people do, is I would come home empty and I would just see the kids as more things I had to do, as more responsibilities on my plate. I didn't understand the power of human relationships, and especially how the brain works neurologically, that really, joy and energy are together, right? Joy, the more joy I feel, the more, and what's interesting is the way you and I get joy, Andrew, a lot of that is through relationships. It's actually through 4 simple ways. One lady calls it joy juice. We get it through touch. We get it through eye contact. We get it by being present and by being playful.
Okay.
That these 4 things actually wire your brain to feel more joy. So what I did, I actually did an experiment. I encourage you, if there's any entrepreneurs you have, maybe none of you do this, but I would come home and I'd be like, honey, I just need some time for me. I just need some time for me. I've been with you. So I'd sit down. I like soccer, so I would get out the Nintendo. I'd play a little FIFA, right? So I just need to play a little FIFA, right? I guess now, back then when I was doing this, I didn't even have a smartphone, but now people pull out their smartphone. I just need to get on there and play some games for a bit. And I thought I bought into this thing by vegging out that somehow but I actually found it made it more annoying to have my kids around, because then I'd get off the video game and be like, oh God, why now I got to go? So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to buy into the neuroscience of this, that if what I'm needing is energy, if what I'm needing is joy, when I come home, I wonder if it's here. I wonder if it's already here. So for 30 days, I'm not going to buy into this check out type thing. I'm going to check in, meaning I'm going to walk in and I am going to just engage my kids, right? So I'm going to engage them. I'm going to roughhouse. I'm going to play. I'm going to hold them. I'm going to be silly with them, right? And I'm going to give that about the same time I would the FIFA game. And I'm going to see what happens physiologically to me. And what I found, Andrew, over those 30 days is not only was I feeling different. Like when I got the video game, I still felt tired, actually felt even more tired, because now it was like I just said, I don't want to engage this. I don't want to get, now that I approach this, I want to engage this. I think there's life here. I think there's joy here. I found I actually then was going, hey, honey, do you need some help with dinner? You want me to help you with that? Like I found the energy was there. And then my kids, when I came home, they were so excited to see me. It began this whole new dance. Instead of me going, kids, leave me alone. Just I need you. It was like, kids, I'm here. Let's do this, right? And and then pretty soon, after 30 days, I realized I don't think I want to play these video games anymore. I don't want to check out. And then, Andrew, before I knew it, a year had gone by, and I was selling my Xbox. I was like, seriously, we have never had a video game system in our house until just this Christmas. Now that my kids are 14, 11, and 7, we all talked about getting a family Nintendo Switch that we all can play together. And so that's been really fun, playing a lot of Mario Kart. But I mean, it's been 12 years the system was it, because I bought into touch, eye contact, being present, and being playful, that the joy was there, that the very reason why I was doing all this work was to be with them. It wasn't to escape them. And once I saw that the impact I could have was to bring more life into the family, that the kids were pumped to see me again. It wasn't like they were like all anxious. Is dad going to have time for us or not? We've missed him all day, but he seems annoyed that we want to spend time with him. That dance wasn't happening. Then that's where I realized the power that I wanted to have in our home of, I want it to be the thing that's always, I'm leaving full. I'm not leaving empty trying to get full at work.
I love that. I'm right here. I'm going to make a challenge to all the listeners. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're included, because you just said it, 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
The coming home and seeking energy through engagement with the kids.
Yeah. Because it's only we're driving, even for those who are even married without kids, imagine your marriage. How many guys or women come home and you're married and you just like, honey, please, I just had a rough day. Instead of like coming home and saying, hey, it's really good to see you. And you like, I mean, I'm just imagining like my wife, like, how different our marriage was when I came home like, honey, how have you been? And I gave her a hug, a kiss, held her hand for a minute, kind of rubbed her back, and we just talked and connected. I mean, all of a sudden, everything got better. So like
everything,
you know?
I know everything gets better.
Got better. Communication got better because then she was excited to see me come home too. She was like, oh yeah, he's not coming home and like dreading it. He's coming home excited. So I would, the challenge I would do for those 30 days is just come home, stop, sit in your car and switch from work is my source. Work is not my source. Right. Family is my source. This is where I come. This is where the joy is. This is where the life-giving energy is. I'm going to come home and I'm not going to escape it. I'm going to choose to smile. So I'll just sit in my car for a minute and smile. Think of all the reasons I'm grateful to come home and just take a moment, think about that. And then I'm going to dive in and I'm going to do touch, eye contact, be present, be playful. Put the phone away, say, I am yours. Just it's only like 20, 30 minutes. And as you do it, you'll start to feel the joy start to bubble.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, not doing this on purpose necessarily from what you just said, but when I come home and go straight to just playing with the kids, like they want to play baseball, they want to kick the ball around, they want to do something, rough house, trampoline, something.
Yes.
We do that. And yes, it's like, it's a switch, right? I have to say, okay, put the phone down and I'm going all in on this. Let's see how long it takes. Usually I ask Michelle, I'm like, hey, what do we have going on? Where's the supper time or whatever?
Yeah.
And when we do that, it's amazing how much better the kids are at getting ready for dinner and helping with dinner and eating the food. Like everything goes together. The energy in the home is just elevated. And so that's a challenge for anybody listening to go through, seek engagement, seek the energy that you've lost at work through engagement, not through vegetation, right? Not just through sitting.
Exactly. Not through trying to escape it. Trying to escape it just sucks the energy from you. And we didn't get into this, Andrew, but what's really cool about the neuroscience of it all is actually when you do that with your kids, you help move them and yourself into the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is where you can now approach life less closed-handed, where you're like trying to fight life, right? And you're more open-handed and receptive to all that life has to offer you, right? And so you actually, through this, you're helping your kids throughout that whole evening be more open and receptive to you and what you have to offer and the guidance, the direction you have to offer.
Yeah.
So it's so amazing because think about you. Every parent knows they can do the inverse. Meaning, if my kid was in the prefrontal cortex, meaning, in short, they feel safe, loved, and secure in their home, you could come home and you could be in the brainstem, like super anxious, super mad, and you could easily push those kids down to where they don't feel safe anymore, to where they feel out of control. And you don't have to say anything. Like they'll feel it, just like your dog will, just like your cat will. They'll feel that energy. So by doing this, you actually neurologically begin to train your brain and their brain to get up to the prefrontal cortex. So then the rest of that evening, your interactions are more open-handed with each other rather than closed-fisted.
I love that, man. So this podcast, we always seek to give actionable steps to people to improve their business, their life. Yeah. That is right there. I mean, in a nutshell, that's it. But I'm going to come at you with one more because I told you I wanted a little something out of this.
Yeah.
So let's get specific on firstborn boys.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the deal with them? So we have one. Reynolds is a strong, strong-headed. He's smart. He always knows, a way to do things, and it's like, well, this is my way. Why do I have to do it your way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what do dads do? I'm talking to dads because I'm a dad, but you get it.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, yeah.
What do we do when that kid is just getting on our nerves because we asked him to do something that he should do? Yes, but then he's got to be a firstborn and give us a reason not to, or give us all the other things that he's got planned before he wants to do our thing.
Yes, I love it. Well, you know what? It's not only firstborn boys because I have a firstborn daughter.
So it's firstborn. I think it's the firstborn thing. Right?
I my firstborn Abby. She's my oldest, man. She was the one who we'd be like, okay, when we come home, we're gonna do either A or B, and then she'd be like, but what about C? and
let me give you all the reasons. Let me give you all the reasons for C. You know?
Yeah, that's right. And like sometimes C was actually a better idea than A. It's so frustrating. Like, honey, C is actually right. So here, in short, here's what I would say is with these kids, right? With these stronger kids, these firstborn kids, these kids, what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out who they are separate from you, right? So whenever you're telling them to do something and they want to do something else, first I want to say healthy, super healthy. That's good. You actually don't want a kid who is a little automaton robot who's just compliant all the time. That I help kids like that. And they are very confused when they become adults because they don't know what the crap they want to do with their lives. Like they're very out of touch with their own desires and they don't know how to stand up to themselves, right? So first of all, I would smile and be grateful that I have a kid who knows what he wants and knows how to fight for it, right? Okay. Yeah. So that's great. Because really, Andrew, it is actually a big challenge when you have a kid who is always doing what you ask and doesn't know. So I actually, one simple thing I do with my kids, I have a son. He's really good at saying yes, meaning almost anytime. Hey, will someone pick up the dog poop? He's like, I'll go get it. Yeah. Will someone empty the dishes? I'll do it. Yeah. And so I actually want him to say no more. So I actually will say to him, I'll say, son, you are super good at saying yes. And I love that about you. But I want you to sometimes just say, no, Dad, I don't want to do that right now. Okay? Yeah. Because I want you to get comfortable. So I might say, let's practice it. Hey, will someone pick up the poop? And he goes, no, Dad, I'm busy. Oh, son, that's great. Okay, but the flip side is I'll say to my daughter, hey, Abby, come here. You know what I'd like you to get better at? I'd like you to get better at saying yes. Because you're really good. I mean, like you're really good at saying no or not that way, this way, right? And so here's what I'm doing, Andrew. I'm modeling to them, we're not against each other. Like I'm for you. Like the dance a kid like your son or my daughter can get into is the only way to be me is to resist you. And I want to let them know you don't have to resist me to be you. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm actually really excited about you becoming you, but sometimes it's really important you just do what I'm asking. Yeah. Right. And so I would say to them, let's practice that. So for this next week, I would like you to practice saying yes more than you're saying no. Right. So then I just give him a challenge. Hey, every day I'm going to remind you. Right. So you said his name's Reynolds, right?
Reynolds. Yep.
Love that name. So I'd say Reynolds every day this week. Let's get better at it. Okay. So I want you to get better at saying yes. Hey, other one, I want you to get better at saying no. Let's work on it. Tell me how many times you said yes, right? Let's practice it right now. Who wants to empty the dishes? And then I was like, yes. Oh, you did it. That's done already. How many yeses a day do you want to try to work on doing, right? And so I just make it this, if people could see in the video, what I'm doing is it's not me against you. It's not me telling you what to do and you saying I'm not going to do it. It's me for you and you for me. Right? That I want Reynolds to understand this is the goal. It's not just doing it my way or doing it your way. It's us creating a way that we work together towards a new ending.
I love that. And I am going to copy and we got to send this recording to my wife. Okay. And I love it. You just kind of hit it on the head exactly who he is and how we and
Andrew, kids love that. Kids love this fist prayer. Yeah. If you said, hey son, can we do this? Can we be more open-handed than close-fisted right now? I feel like I'm doing this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to calm down and be more like this. I'd like you to do that too. So then we can work together towards an ending that we have co-created. Not one I demanded or forced you to do or one you blew up and tried to get me to do. We're for each other, dude. We're not against each other.
Yes. Yes. So, guys, this podcast is got to come to an end. I wish we could sit here for hours and talk about kids and the art of raising these humans, right? You want, this is our most important thing, right?
Yeah.
God has given us this place to raise these children, and it's one of those big things that dads, especially, I feel like, need to turn off and say, work's not the most important. What's important are these kids that have been entrusted to us. And so we got to spend some time on that. And which is why, I love what you're doing, how you help people. There might be a time where you need to spend money for someone to help you to raise your kids like that. I know that seems weird for the generation above us, but I think it's more and more commonplace now for us to understand that. And I really wanted to get you on the podcast just so people knew you existed, right? Yeah. So I'm so excited for that. What's the best way for people to find you if they want to?
Yes. So, Andrew, if they want to go to the website is parentinglegacy.com, and they can also call. So the phone number is 918-984-1555. And what basically I do is I walk parents, sometimes together, moms and dads together, or just dads or moms on their own, whichever the situation is. And I help them develop a vision for their family. Because typically that's where the conflict is happening, is they kind of have a picture and it's not going the way they want. But they've never actually sat down and said, oh, this is why I'm frustrated, because it's not becoming what I dreamed it would. And then I'm really mad because I actually don't know how to make it that happen. I don't know how to make that vision happen, right?
Yeah.
It's so exciting to really nail down, what does that picture look like? And then I'm going to give you the tools to help you create that family. And even lots of couples, the reason why their marriages are falling apart, they've never even had that discussion either. Like, they're on totally different pages about what the family they want actually looks like. And so when you get them down to discuss that and actually get a clear picture, just like you would in your business, just like you would as an entrepreneur, in order to be successful in business, you got to have a clear vision. But most parents have never done that with their families. They're just mad it isn't what they want, but they really haven't ever spent time to articulate what they wanted it to look like. So I help them do that, and then I help them have that kind of thing.
I love it. I'm so thankful that you're here. So thankful for coming on the podcast. And really, guys, anybody that's out there that has a question, if you haven't done a vision and put your vision together with your family, whether you're married, could be divorced, could be just starting out, like, if it's time to do a vision for your family, like we talked about it for business. I'm glad you brought that up. But this has been amazing. We have to cut it short.
Yes.
We got to get going. I say short. We've been going for half an hour. That's so good. We could keep going forever and ever. So, guys, if this is something that you need some information on, reach out to Kyle. They've got a great program. I know that they can at least put you in the right place if they are the people to help you. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Kyle, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Andrew.
This has been an incredible podcast. And again, dealfindersclub.com if you want more information on that. And all the show notes will be below, so you can click the link to find their website. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the REI Deal Finders podcast. You can find out more and apply to be a part of the REI Deal Finder community at reidealfinders.club.